North Korea this morning fired multiple cruise missiles into the sea just 3 days after the last batch. We take a look at what's behind these missile tests that have become all too frequent. The country's consumer price indicator went down last month to below 3% for the first time in half a year, but prices of fruits and vegetables were still high. Seoul is the right choice to meet some of the most iconic, young, and innovative designs this weekend as curtains are up for 2024 Seoul Fashion Week. It's February 2nd, 2024. This is Newscenter.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. We begin with North Korea firing another set of cruise missiles into the sea, which have become all too frequent recently. Pyongyang has done so 4 times in less than 2 weeks. Bae Eun-ji starts us off.
North Korea has once again fired cruise missiles toward waters off its west coast. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff says it detected the launch of several cruise missiles into the West Sea at around 11 a.m. on Friday. It said the military has been closely coordinating with the U.S. to monitor additional signs of North Korean provocations, and that intelligence authorities of Seoul and Washington are currently conducting detailed analysis of the latest launch. Friday's launch was the North's fourth of a cruise missile in 10 days. On January 24th, it fired its new strategic cruise missile, the Bulhwasar 3-31, which means fire arrow in Korean. 3 days later, it tested the same type of missile from a submarine. Then, earlier this week, its Hwasar 2 cruise missile, claiming that it was aimed at sharpening its counterattack and strategic strike capabilities. Cruise missiles are designed to fly at a low altitude, making them harder to detect and intercept. A retired submarine captain and the head of a submarine research institute says the recent series of cruise missile launches come as the regime sees this type of missile as an effective weapon system to pose a threat to South Korea.
Until now, North Korea has been showcasing nuclear weapons aimed at hitting long-range targets like the US mainland. But now it's trying to show off measures that can directly strike South Korea, and cruise missiles are a highly suitable type of weapon system to achieve this.
He added that in order for newly developed missiles to be ready for deployment, various tests need to be conducted intensively, and said such testing will likely continue for the time being. Bae Eun-ji, Arirang News.
U.S. Navy Admiral Samuel Paparo has warned of significant strategic and military risks linked to a potential conflict on the Korean Peninsula. That's according to his written response to the Senate Armed Services Committee on Thursday local time. The nominee for U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Chief highlighted the continued advancements made by North Korea in its conventional and strategic military capabilities. He also spoke of the need to improve Washington's deterrence against North Korean threats by increasing the allocation of airborne intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets. South Korea and the U.S. have completed their first joint special operations exercise of this year, coming at a crucial time. Our Kim Jong-sil has this report.
You're looking at members of the South Korean and U.S. Special Forces communicating with each other during a combined drill. As part of this year's first joint special operations drills, Special Forces units from South Korea and the U.S. deployed to the Rodriguez Live Fire Complex in Pocheon, Gyeonggi-do Province. For 2 weeks, they underwent intensive physical training, shooting practice, and providing first aid during combat situations. South Korea's 3rd Special Forces Brigade and the 1st Special Forces Group from the U.S., commonly known as the Green Berets, took part in the training. The U.S. 1st Special Forces Group is one of 7 U.S. Army Special Forces units that contribute to a unified deterrence posture in the Indo-Pacific region. Its soldiers also have expertise in guerrilla warfare. The drills were part of efforts to master combined operational procedures while reinforcing individual combat capability.
I was able to compare and experience the various weapons and combat methods of South Korea and the U.S. Special Forces. I want to become a strong Special Forces member who can complete the mission anytime.
Our time here in Korea has been fantastic. We've just been trying to get after a lot of training with our Korean partners and trying to build that interoperability that we all strive for.
The South Korean Army's Special Warfare Command said it will closely analyze the results of the exercise to improve its combined special operations capabilities for the future. The command doesn't always inform the public of the details of joint special operations exercises with the U.S. The disclosure this time may have been an attempt to demonstrate its strong commitment to deter North Korea, which has recently escalated its military provocations. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
Moving on, plans are set for U.S. retaliation for the loss of American lives at a base in Jordan, followed by a recent drone attack by Iran-backed forces. On the list are Iranian targets in Iraq and Syria. Lee Seung-jae has the latest.
In response to the deadly drone attack that killed 3 U.S. soldiers in Jordan on Sunday, Washington has approved plans for a series of strikes against Iranian targets in Syria and Iraq. According to CBS News, U.S. officials said these strikes will take place over a number of days, with weather conditions likely to dictate when they begin. Although the U.S. military can attack even in poor weather conditions, it believes that visibility is important to prevent accidentally attacking civilians near the target. In response to the timing of the attack, White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said he would not comment on specifics, saying that hinting at the timeline for strikes would be the worst thing he could do. However, he stressed that President Biden had made up his mind on retaliation plans against the deadly drone attack in Jordan, adding the strikes would be a multi-layered approach over a period of time. Washington recently confirmed that Iran-backed Islamic resistance in Iraq, an umbrella group of militias, was responsible for Sunday's attack. It also assessed that the drone used in the attack was manufactured in Iran. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Israel says its next target in the Gaza Strip is Rafah, near the border with Egypt, where more than half of Gaza's population are taking shelter. Its Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said on Thursday that Israel has successfully dismantled the Hamas operation in Khan Younis and will reach Rafah to eliminate terror elements. The majority of Gaza's 2.3 million population is displaced in the enclave's southern cities, including Khan Younis, where Israeli forces have reportedly attacked major hospitals. Consumer prices in Korea eased to the 2% range in January for the first time in half a year. But prices of fruits and vegetables were still high. Moon Hye-ryun has the latest numbers.
Inflation in South Korea eased back into the 2% range for the first time in 6 months, despite soaring prices of fresh produce. Data from Statistics Korea released on Friday show that the country's consumer price index, a key gauge of inflation, rose 2.8% in January compared to the same month the year before. It's the third month in a row that year-on-year growth of CPI has seen a decline. Figures saw a rise after dropping to 2.4% in July and then began to ease after hitting 3.8% in October. Core inflation, excluding volatile food and energy prices, came to 2.5%, while the index measuring 144 daily necessities rose 3.4%. Prices of fresh produce have continued to climb due to poor weather conditions throughout the latter half of last year, with the rise in prices for agricultural goods remaining in the 15% range for 2 months straight. Fruit prices in particular saw the largest hike at just under 27%, with the government pledging last month to tackle climbing costs by removing or lowering tariffs for 21 different types of fruit. With the upcoming national holidays, Seoll날 or Lunar New Year, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok announced further measures for the holiday season during an emergency economic meeting on Friday.
We will invest an additional 10 billion Korean won to stabilize prices of expensive fruits such as apples and pears, and prepare for possible supply instability by increasing cultivation of apples and pears by 8,000 tons this year.
Transport costs, however, fell by 0.3% compared to January 2023, continuing the trend of on-year decline since November last year. With the introduction of the climate card last weekend, which allows limitless public transport access in the capital Seoul, and plans to implement another type of public transport discount card called the K-Pass in May, the government hopes to lower transport fees even further. 문혜련, Arirang News.
To stabilize the falling prices of rice, the government aims to purchase some 50,000 tons from its private supply and use it for global food assistance. The ruling People Power Party's chief policymaker Yoo Il-dong said on Friday that this is in addition to the 50,000 tons announced last year. This as people in Korea consume less rice compared to before. The government plans to use drones and AI to make more accurate predictions when it comes to rice production and offer farmers incentives for raising other types of grains. Korea is looking to bolster its hydrogen infrastructure, and as part of such intentions, the number of hydrogen fueling stations will be expanded in urban areas. Shin Ha-young has more.
More hydrogen fueling stations will be established in urban areas of South Korea. That's according to plans announced during an emergency economic meeting hosted by Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok on Friday. The government aims to boost the hydrogen industry by improving related regulations.
The government will improve regulations in key areas, including hydrogen production facilities and distance rules for hydrogen fueling stations, to boost the country's hydrogen industry.
Under current regulations, hydrogen fueling stations are required to maintain a distance of 12 to 32 meters from places like residential areas and stores for safety reasons. The government plans to ease this restriction by allowing stations to be built in urban areas with the condition that protective walls are built. With this change, it aims to increase the number of hydrogen fueling stations from 192 in 2023 to 458 by 2030. It said it will also ease rules regarding liquid hydrogen. Currently, businesses are not allowed to operate both LPG stations and liquid hydrogen stations together, but this may change later this year with the implementation of new safety standards. Meanwhile, during the meeting on Friday, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs announced plans to double the size of the Korean food industry. Considering the growing global demand for Korean cuisine, it aims to increase the number of Korean restaurants abroad to 15,000 by 2027. To achieve these goals, the ministry plans to enhance the expertise of Korean food professionals. The government will also digitize 100 Korean recipes and offer a variety of content, including traditional liquor and food pairings. With these plans, the ministry aims to boost the industry from a valuation of 152 trillion Korean won in 2021 to 300 trillion won, or around $226 billion by 2027. Shin Ha-young, Arirang News.
Time now for our weekly arts and culture segment. We have our culture correspondent Song Yoo-jin in the studio. You're back from Gangwon, Yoo-jin.
I'm back from Gangwon, Jongmi, just for arts and culture.
So glad. What do you have for us today?
Well, Jongmin, as you know, the 2024 Gangwon Winter Youth Olympic Games ended its sporting journey just yesterday. And yesterday, while I was there to cover the closing ceremony, today I wanted to take the time to actually wrap up the games. So let's first take a look.
It's the end of another sports spectacle. With the Gangwon 2024 Winter Youth Olympic Games having come to a close, here's a look back on the games with some key words. Scale. The fourth Winter Youth Olympic Games was the biggest of its kind to date. We witnessed remarkable performances from 1,800 athletes representing 78 national Olympic committees across 15 disciplines in 7 sports. This beat Lausanne 2020's record of 1,788. Some 500,000 spectators visited Gangwon 2024, surpassing the organizing committee's goal of 250,000. The next keyword, legacy. This is Korea's second time hosting the Winter Olympics after Pyeongchang 2018.
For Gangwon 2024, we didn't build any new venues and used already existing ones. The organizing committee's total budget was 96.7 billion Korean won, 3.5% of the budget allocated for Pyeongchang 2018.
And then there's the soft legacy. 25 out of 100 athletes who participated in the Pyeongchang 2018 Legacy Foundation's New Horizons Academy, a training camp for young athletes from countries where winter sports are not accessible, qualified for Gangwon 2024. Out of them, Tunisian bobsledder Jonathan Lourimi and Thai bobsledder Agnes Kampeol won the first Winter Olympic medals for their countries.
Yeah, so it started with this program, New Horizon Academy, who gave me the opportunity to try out different winter sports, and I fell in love with bobsleigh, so I started to proceed bobsleigh.
Korea. Team Korea won a total of 7 gold, 6 silver, and 4 bronze at the Games. So Jae-hwan became the first Asian bobsledder to win gold at the Youth Olympics. Kim Hyun-kyung became the first Korean male to medal in figure skating, not winning 1, but 2 gold medals. Snowboarder Lee Chae-woon also won 2 gold. Culture. Gangwon 2024 offered an array of cultural events such as a DJ skate night, lessons from Olympians, and winter sports tryouts.
The most memorable aspect was Team Korea clinching the gold medal in the figure skating team event. In terms of festivities, I enjoyed the traditional Korean food tastings and the photo booth.
From the 1988 Seoul Summer Olympics to Pyeongchang 2018 and now Gangwon 2024, Korea's Olympic heritage continues.
Eugene, you covered the Hangzhou Asian Games last year and this year the Winter Youth Olympic Games. Did you find any difference this time?
Well, I did actually. I felt like the Winter Olympics was not solely focused on competing for the medals. It was actually more about providing these young athletes between 15 and 18 years old a stage to really show what they've got so that they can continue their passion for sports and grow into better athletes. And that's why the International Olympic Committee didn't announce the official medal standings for the Games. And I also wholeheartedly agree with what IOC President Thomas Bach said, that the Games are a stepping stone for the future. And I could also feel the bright enthusiasm and energy of teenagers when I visited the athletes village, because everybody was just smiling and waving at us, which really made me feel like this is a celebration and a moment for these athletes to just enjoy.
And Eugene, you've been following this story for quite some time. With the game is now over, anything you like to share?
Well, I personally think that being able to cover an Olympics that specifically takes place in your home country is a great honor, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So just being there, watching the games, looking at the athletes, the staff, and the spectators just really made me feel proud that Korea is once again hosting its second Winter Olympics and also the first Winter Youth Olympic Games in Asia. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity. And as you know, we have 2 Olympics coming up this year with the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics in the summer. So if I have the chance, I think that would be amazing if I go to those Olympics and cover the games on site.
All right, great reporting. Thanks, Eugene.
Thank you.
If you are planning to meet some of the most iconic, young and innovative designs this weekend, Seoul is the right choice. Its iconic fashion week is back, and our Choi Soo-hyung gives us a glimpse of that.
Seoul Fashion Week is known for its innovative and eclectic style, often blending traditional elements and modern trends. 2024 Seoul Fashion Week's fall and winter season embarked on its 5-day run on Thursday. This season, some Korean fashion designers famous among young people gather at Dongdaemun Design Plaza and Seongsu S Factory, the country's fashion hub. Like the previous seasons, the venue is being held earlier than usual to grab the attention of the world's fashion media.
For this year's autumn and winter collection, Seoul Fashion Week takes place 6 weeks earlier than the Big Four: New York, Paris, Milan, and London.
A total of 21 runway shows are scheduled, 15 at DDP and 6 at S Factory. The week kicked off with designer Park So-young's brand July Column, which has become a popular label in Korea.
July Column is very much a new generation, and Park So-young is the only designer in Korea with such craftsmanship. I was impressed with the diverse mix and match of knit, layer patterns, and meticulous detailing. I think the designer tries to balance between classic with fresh and international while also embracing a distinct Korean aesthetic.
During the show, the world-renowned South Korean soprano singer Park Hae-sang took the runway to perform her newly released song.
Nowadays, the world really can't ignore K-beauty and fashion. I think we have the power to lead, and this stage was so unique due to a collaboration with the opera singer. It was touching and truly impressive.
In particular, this season aims to increase the participation of young generation brands with high potential for global growth. And so, the Seoul Metropolitan Government, the host of this event, has invited 68 domestic brands to take part. Moreover, celebrating its 23rd year, various events allow visitors to have a memorable experience. A massive 12-meter-long graffiti wall welcomes attendees in front of TDP Square.
I think Korean people in general, they're very well coded. Like every time I see them, their pants always go with their shirts, their shoes always go with everything. Also, the fashion differs from the place that you're in. Like if you go to Hongdae, you'll see like more street fashion, and Shinsa is like more like professional look.
The event will run until February 5th, showcasing diverse talent and contributing significantly to the global fashion scene. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
Today, most regions started with above freezing temperatures. It rose to 6 degrees Celsius in Seoul, even in the middle of the day, exceeding the previous year's temperatures by 3 degrees. There's no need to worry about the cold this weekend. Daily highs will get up to 10 degrees on Sunday, which is Ipchun on the lunar calendar, informing us that spring is starting. Fine dust has been rampant every day while the weather has stayed mild. Tomorrow, Chungcheongnam-do and Jeollabuk-do provinces will see bad levels of ultrafine dust. On the East Coast and Jeju Island, there will be high waves. Please pay special attention to safety accidents when approaching the coast. Tomorrow, Daejeon and Gyeongju will start off at -1 degrees. Daytime conditions will get a touch warmer. Daejeon, Gwangju, and Daegu will get up to 10 degrees Celsius. Starting with the southern parts of the country on Sunday, rain or snow is expected across the rest of the country on Monday. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
And that is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session coming up.